Hey everybody, Jason here of GhostbustersNews.com, and as always, Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube. And today we're taking a look at the long-awaited, brand new Ghostbusters Fright feature figures from Hasbro. And I say long-awaited because these things were originally shown like in February of 2020, and then of course Ghostbusters Afterlife got delayed, and then pretty much all the toys also got delayed. So to say the least, I'm really excited to finally have these in hand, and they look beautiful. Now before we get too deep into today's video, I would like to send a huge thank you out to Brent Hollingsworth of the Arizona and Buffalo Ghostbusters. He did some of the legwork and actually hooked me up with a couple of these figures. As well, I'd also like to send a thank you out to the Philp family, in particular Jack Philp from British Columbia. His family also, they put some legwork in, and they tracked down a few more of these figures featured in today's video. And in the first wave here, you can see there are 4 figures. We've got Peter Venkman, Winston Zeddemore, Ray Stantz, and of course, Egon Spengler. So you know, the main 4 Ghostbusters. And you can see the packages do feature like that newer style Ghostbusters Afterlife logo with like the wear and tear and the rivets. And I especially love the individual title cards for each character, as they feature unique art. Art that is begging for like a new Ghostbusters animated series. You've already taken a look at the Peter Venkman one. Here's the Winston Zeddemore. From there, we've got the Heart of the Ghostbusters, Ray Stantz. And that does look like a stylized Danny Aykroyd. And then coming up last here, of course, once again, we have got Egon Spengler. Now, the whole gimmick when it comes to these brand new Fright feature figures from Hasbro is that the ghost that the Ghostbusters are packed with actually has the Fright feature. So the ghost is going to cause quite the fright. And speaking of the ghosts that are included with the Ghostbusters, we actually have to talk about Peter Venkman and Winston Zeddemore, because these figures are actually getting 2 different releases, both of which are hitting store shelves right now. First, let's go ahead and take a look at Peter Venkman. You can see on the left, his standard release comes with this ghost with like blue tentacles. While on the right, the alternate release comes with a terror dog. Now, as we reported a couple weeks ago on Ghostbusters News here on YouTube, the one that comes with the blue ghost is kind of considered like a Wave 1 figure, while the one that comes with the Terror Dog is considered a Wave 1.5 figure. But like I already said, both of these are hitting store shelves right now, so pick and choose which one you want. I'd suggest picking up both because why not? Moving on here, next let's talk about the Winston Zeddemore figure, because much like Venkman, he has 2 different releases. On the left-hand side, you'll see he comes with like this yellow ghost that to me looks like a mini puff, kind of like a melted mini puff. And on the right, we've got the must-have ghost when it comes to this Fright feature line. We have got everyone's favorite disgusting little slime ball, Slimer. Speaking of that Slimer, guys, I need to break in here. I gotta get me that Slimer. So I just unboxed all 4 Ghostbusters, and I hope you see the smile in my face, because these figures are likely some of my favorite Ghostbusters figures like ever. Let's first take a look at Dr. Peter Venkman. And one of the reasons I love this line so much is just that animated style. Like, to me, this kind of looks like Bill Murray, but if Bill Murray was like on like an animated series like Archer or something like that. I love all the character and the over-exaggeration that went into this face. Moving down, we're going to take a look at the flight suit here. And as you've probably noticed, like all the like the little detail work, like pockets and zippers and all that, they're actually molded into the sculpt, which gives actually a really cool kind of like a stylized effect to this figure. We've also got some paint app there for the Proton Pack straps and the military web belt. You can see we've also got the Venkman name tag there on his chest, along with the Ghostbusters No Ghost logo there on the right arm, as expected. Now, one area that they kind of cut a bit of a corner on, you can see that there are elbow pads on this figure, but they're not painted. Considering they painted the military belt gray, I kind of wish they went in and painted the elbow pads that same gray color. But at the same time, in the US, these figures ring up for like $10, so I can't really be, too harsh on the fact of, paint app on the elbow pad. So I'm going to overlook that. Continuing on with the figure here, taking a look at the leg area, you'll see once again we got detail work when it comes to the pockets and such being molded onto the figure, much like the upper torso. And we've also got the shiny black boots of Dr. Venkman. Now, I know quite a few people out there may be raising their pitchforks up in the air because they're getting angry right now because Venkman's pant legs, they are tucked into the boots. And any Ghostbuster fan, they'll tell you that Venkman, he's not a tucker. Well, there's a good reason for that, and that's because every single figure in this toy line, they share the exact same body as you can see here. We've got Peter Venkman on the left, we've got Ray Stantz on the right. So the only areas where these figures differ is obviously the head sculpt and the name tag on their chest. Oh, and in Winston's case, the paint app on his hands. Now, turning Venkman over here, you will find the Proton Pack. No, there's no paint app, but for the detail work and the sculpting, once again, for like a $10 figure, this looks really good. Now, when it comes to the detail work on his wand, that has been much more simplified, which kind of makes sense because it is such a tiny accessory piece. Now, as you can see, Venkman can hold the wand in hand. As well, there is actually like a little latch on the proton pack, which you can actually fit it on there. So the wand does connect to the pack. The only issue you're going to see here, though, is that the handle actually bends quite a bit. And that's because like the rubber or plastic or whatever it is that the wand is made out of, yeah, it is very, very soft. So being that I'm mostly an out-of-box collector, as you know, as you can see right now, I'm likely going to display my Fright feature Ghostbuster figures like this with the actual wand in hand because, yeah, I don't really want that that back handle, bending. Now, one thing I have to mention with these figures is they're kind of like the old school, like real Ghostbusters figures from Kenner in the respects that you can actually remove the backpacks very easily. In fact, they actually hook into it like very similar. There's a hole in the back of the Ghostbusters, a peg on the proton pack, it just pops right in there, and that's it. Now, when it comes to Venkman, once again, there's two possible ghosts he can come with. First, we've got this blue-looking tentacle ghost, which he looks pretty nasty. He's got the yellow eyes, also the yellow teeth. And if you want to activate his Fright feature, it's really easy to do so. There's just a little button on the back of here. Let's go ahead and turn him around. And yeah, let's go ahead and hit that button. Totally disgusting. I love it. If you keep pressing the button, you can kind of see his tongue inside of his mouth still keeps kind of like moving around there. And another Fright feature ghost that Venkman can come with is this terror dog here. I think this terror dog is actually my favorite when it comes to the ghosts included in the Fright feature line. His makes a lot of sense. Once again, there's a button on the back, and all you gotta do is hit that button, and you can see he pretty much dislocates his jaw and like his whole upper torso, opening up his mouth and also revealing a yellow tongue. Now, being that these figures are so similar, once again, like the whole bodies are pretty much the same, I don't really think I'm gonna go over, Winston and Ray and Egon in the same detail that I did for Peter. So let's just really take a look at Winston's head here. And much like with that Peter figure, you know how I got the Bill Murray animated vibes, I'm getting that here with Winston too, once again with Ernie Hudson. Now, detail-wise, I love like the line like on the left side of the hair. Of course, he's based off his appearance in the original Ghostbusters, so he does have his mustache as well. Seriously, old Winston looks great. Moving on to Winston's ghost, we do have this like little yellow-looking melted mini-popped, I keep calling him here. And yeah, to activate his Fright feature, it's just once again a press on the back of the figure. And in doing that, you reveal this pretty disturbing pink face. He's got like yellow googly eyes, he's got kind of like off-colored white-yellow teeth. Looks like a pretty nasty fellow. Now, coming up next, we've got Slimer. And I know I said like the Terror Dog had my favorite like Fright feature in the line. I actually may have called him my favorite ghost in the line. But I'd like to take that back if I said that, because this Slimer is really, really winning me over. Look at that big happy face there, the yellow eyes with the red pupils. And one little detail that I really like on this figure that also kind of makes me feel a bit uncomfortable is if you turn him around to the back, you can actually see Slimer's spinal cord. I mean, I'm usually a Slimer butt guy, but in this case, I think I'm going to be a Slimer spinal cord guy. Ugh. So of course, Slimer does have a button on his back with the spinal column there. Let's go ahead and hit that, and here is Slimer's Fright feature. You can see his head splits apart down the middle, and what's really cool about this one is if you keep pressing the button, you can see his tongue keeps moving around. So disgusting, and I love it. Now, coming up next, we already gave you a bit of a sneak peek earlier on. We have got the heart of the Ghostbusters, Ray Stantz. And this does look so much like a young Dan Aykroyd here. I mean, just try and tell me that this does not look like Dan Aykroyd. Honestly, I feel like this figure is just like seconds away from trying to sell me some Crystal Head vodka. Now, Ray's Fright feature pack-in ghost, it should look familiar because, well, I mean, it's the exact same mold that we saw earlier. It's that blue tentacle ghost. The only change up now is he's both blue and pink. And of course, he works the exact same way. You hit the button on the back of the character, and then he opens up. This time, though, the color has changed a bit as we have green and blue and yellow highlights on the inside. Now, rounding out the group, I may have saved the best for last. We've got the brains of the Ghostbusters, Dr. Egon Spengler. And I really do love how this one turned out. It does give me really strong animated Harold Ramis vibes. Of course, we got like the thick glasses there. We've also got like the high hair. And actually, speaking of that high hair, it actually helps make this figure stand a little bit taller over all the other figures in this Fright feature line. Once again, they're using the same exact body mold for each figure, And much like we saw in the original Ghostbusters film, it is good to see Egon Spengler have that slight height difference. Egon's Packing Ghost is one of those orange, mini-puffed looking Fright feature ghosts. And much like that yellow one here, you press the button on the back and bam, he just opens his insides right up, showing that pretty horrific looking face. This time though, the face is blue and we've also got like purple eyes. Now that about does it for a look at all 4 Ghostbusters, so of course we need to take a look at them all together. And to me that is where this brand new line, once again, the Ghostbusters Fright feature from Hasbro, really shines. And if you're wondering about scale, well, we all know what the real Ghostbusters figures are like, right? Well, here are the Fright features next to the real Ghostbusters. And they pretty much scale like perfectly. I mean, they're almost like from the same line. And in doing that, that opens up so many great possibilities, including being able to play with that Kenner Real Ghostbusters Ecto-1 with these brand new Hasbro Fright feature figures. I mean, they look right at home with this Ecto. And if you're one of those original Kenner vintage Firehouse headquarters, well, your brand new Fright feature figures, they already have a home. Because once again, they will work perfectly well with that playset. Now speaking of playsets, later this week we're actually going to be reviewing Hasbro's brand new Ghostbusters Ecto-1, as you're taking a look at right here. This is the Ecto that's actually made with the Fright feature line in mind, and like I said, that review is coming later this week. Now if you'd like to buy the brand new Ghostbusters Fright feature line from Hasbro, we're going to include some links right down below in this video's description. Click it and buy yours today. That's all I've got for you here right now. As always, be sure to subscribe to Ghostbusters News here on YouTube. Bust that bell notification icon to stay up to date with everything that's happening within the Ghostbusters world. If you'd like to join up with Ghostbusters News, check out our Patreon page. A link to that can be found right down below in this video's description. And I'll see everybody right back here next time. There's something strange coming out to play, and I'm noticing effects of it night and day. So I'm picking up the phone, they're a dial away. Heard that they ain't afraid of no ghosts. No one had arms reaching out of his torso to militarize zones on with Finn's boy though. Just got a call and I'm ecto cool. Grab your tools, it's time to fight Zool. This proton charge will go run you extra. The storage of the beast, hope you brought your checkbook. You might want a warranty in case it happens down the line. Everybody's going down in time, remember you are not alone.